All right, now for the second build I'll be showing you is for the Ninja. Okay, for the Ninja, it follows the same basic principles as the Soldier in my previous video, where you can either go pure damage or critical strike chance. As you can see, I'm going to go pure critical strike chance and critical strike damage because I believe you're going to do more damage in the end in that build itself. When you're doing that, I like to use Brawler Yuna, and the reason for that is because there's two main factors you want to look at in a Ninja when you're looking for just pure sword damage or any sort of edge damage whatsoever. The first one you want to look at is 5 Winds Cut. Increases damage of swords and axes in size by 24%. Okay? After that is Assassination. Dealing sword damage grants 1 stack of Assassination, increasing the damage dealt by swords by 5% in the last 5 seconds and stacks up to 5 times. So that's another 25 additional damage. Now, the reason why I choose Brawler Luna over almost every other ninja that I actually have is because of Pain Mastery. Pain Mastery. Assassination stacks now grant a 3 bonus per stack to critical rating with edge melee weapons. So not only do you get 25% additional damage, you get also 18 points of critical hit rating, which is 20% critical strike chance. So when she's actually doing that Pain Mastery, she gets an additional 20% critical strike chance. Now, when you look at my sword that I use with her, which is Stormblade, I've got 135% crit damage, 3% life leech, 20% energy damage, another 135% critical hit damage, and then 45% damage to afflicted targets and then causes affliction. The reason why I have it spec'd out that way is because if you actually look at the stats, it shows with Brawler Luna right now I have a 35% critical hit damage, or critical hit chance. Now when she actually does her Assassination ability, it moves it to a 55% critical hit chance because of the 20% or the 18 points of critical hit chance. At that point, I have a 55% critical hit chance with Brawler Luna. And so basically every other hit, I'm going to be critical. I'm going to be making a critical hit damage chance with every weapon slash. Now on that chance, that's the reason why I spec the sword to critical hit damage at 320%. Now, the other way that you can actually spec a ninja is by going by pure, basically pure weapon damage, if that's really what you want to go. Now, the only way you can do that is doing a basic build like Brawler Luna with Swordmaster Ken for the 24% sword damage or edge damage, which is going to include all your melee weapons except for like the hammer, but basically all the melee weapons the ninja will actually use. So if you're going to go with pure damage, then obviously you want to spec your swords with pure damage. Hence, if you go over to here, and if I were to go to my Stormblade and upgrade, modify the perks, I would switch everything to pure damage. 30% damage here, 30% damage here. I would keep the 45% damage here and leave the life leech there. So if you didn't want to go with a crit build, you would go with a pure damage build, and you would have to find a way to up that pure damage. The only other way to do that is if you do actually have a sword that does energy damage. You could switch it to, there's two Outlanders that do this. One of them is the Winter Outlander, I can't remember her name, and the other one is Shamrock Reclaimer that increases energy damage by 20%. So not only is it going to increase energy damage by 20% with all of your abilities and all of your guns that are energy, but it will also increase the damage of your swords by 20%. Who I usually stack in my tactical slot is Deadly Blade Scorpion. For the critical hits from melee weapons, deal 15% on hit damage every second for 3 seconds while reducing movement speed by 30%. So that's just going to increase your DPS in the long run. That's if you're going for swords. If I'm going for scythes, I'm going to use Harvester Sarah based on the scythe benefits that she actually gives. Now, the most common ninja build that you have out there is Dragon Scorch. The reason for that is if you look down his build, he's got Return of the Dragon, Wings of the Dragon, which is basically, it's going to reduce the energy cost of Dragon Slash by 15 and increases the length of Dragon Slash by 1 tile. On top of that, you have Shroud of the Dragon, which Dragon Slash now activates Shadow Stance, which will reduce the damage taken to the ninja, which is the only thing really that Brawler Luna does not have. Okay. Shadow Wear Stance as well. Let's go down to there. Where did that go? Increases the damage resistance granted by Shadow Stance by 15%. So you take an additional 15% less damage while in Shadow Stance. The other thing is Legendary Blade do additional 35% sword damage while in Shadow Stance, while Shadow Stance is active. And then Breath of the Dragon, which really makes Dragon Scorch unique, which does Dragon Slash has doubled its area effect. Additionally, increases the damage of Dragon Slash by 50%. So really, when you look at it, you have 3 ways of speccing a ninja. Either crit, pure damage, or ability damage. Now, Dragon Scorch is pure ability damage. So when you do that, you want to put, if you have her, which you really need her, is Shuriken Master Sarah. The reason why you want to do that is because it increases all ability damage by 20%, including Dragon Slash, Throwing Stars, and Smoke Bomb. So every ability that he has is increased by Shuriken Master Sarah. At that point, you can put whatever you want in your attack slot. I still put Deadly Blade Scorpion in there for the additional damage. However, if you have, where's he at? Mega Base Kyle. He's got Smoke Screen. Smoke Bomb restores shield to full strength. So basically, you can go through and burn all your shield, everything you want to do, and then throw your Smoke Bomb, and your shield comes up to full strength. The only other option is if you have Master Grenader Ramirez with the Survivalist attack, which means everything you hit is going to give life back to you. Now that Dragon Slash, when you actually hit with Dragon Slash on Dragon Scorch with Master Grenader Ramirez in there, it's going to give you about anywhere from 10 to 25% of your health back, which is pretty big. It's a pretty big amount of health getting back just from one slash, especially for how often you're actually able to use that. With Dragon Scorch, obviously you want to use swords because he benefits from swords the most, more than pretty much any other ninja out there, unless they're specific for every other thing. So you got Harvester Sarah, who's going to benefit from scythe, and then you have some of the skirmishers who are going to benefit from pole arms. But other than that, that's how you actually want to build it. That's the spec you want to build. With Dragon Scorch, I wouldn't go with a crit build. I'd go with a more pure damage build with Dragon Scorch because of how his squad is laid out. But almost any other ninja, I would go with a crit build just because they have that natural crit rating, including Harvester Sarah. So Harvester Sarah, for instance, if I put her here and we inspect her, she's got that 5 Winds Cut, which is 24% increased damage of swords, axes, and scythes. On top of that, she has Anatomy Lessons. That's the other big thing you want to look at. Increases critical rating with swords, axes, and scythes by 18, which is 20%. Okay? Meaning you can spec your other specialties in your weapons based off of critical hit damage rather than critical hit chance. She still has Dragon Slash. She has Late Arrival, size still 48% increased damage to slowed and snare targets. That's why you want to choose, when you use her, you want to use Neon Scythe. Okay? So Neon Scythe, damage dealt with this weapon snares the target by 30% for 6 seconds. On top of that, you have damage to slow and snare targets, 135% crit damage, 135% crit damage, and then 30% heavy attack stamina efficiency. Now, why I have that spec that way on my Neon Scythe is because the Neon Scythe is very particular about their second ability. It does a whirlwind effect when you do your left click on the Neon Scythe. So it's a really, really good wave clear. And that is why I chose the heavy attack stamina efficiency over everything else, because you're able to use that so often, clear so many waves with that and Dragon Slash. And then when you actually come up to bosses, you just hack them down with the Neon Scythe. Again, if you like this video, please like it. If you guys have any other videos you guys want to see based on any other classes or specific heroes, I would be glad to review it and make those videos based upon your suggestions. Please like and follow this video. And thanks, guys. I appreciate it. You have a good night.